Hello, my name is Joe. Welcome to Room to Reward. I am the Operations Director here at the charity, and I just want to take a few moments of your time just to go over some bits of the registration process and how Room to Reward works. So firstly, I'd just like to go over who Room to Reward is for, and it's very simple. Room to Reward is for any organisation that relies on volunteers to do what they do and to help people in places in need. So whether you are a registered charity, a community group, a grassroots sports club, or any other form of voluntary organisation, as long as you have volunteers within your group that help you do what you do, you are absolutely welcome to join as a partner of ours and give some time back to those wonderful volunteers. As an organisation, we are religiously neutral, so for any faith-based organisations interested in joining us, you're absolutely welcome to, but what I would say is that your nominations have to be for things outside of the religious element of what you do. So whether it's supportive coffee mornings for vulnerable and isolated people, or youth clubs, there would be those sorts of things as opposed to things like missionary work. So what is Room to Reward? Well, Room to Reward was founded in 2015 with a simple idea of putting unsold hotel rooms to good use. Every hotel knows when their busiest times of year are going to be, but the other side of that coin is they can reasonably anticipate when occupancy isn't going to be as high, they're likely to have some empty rooms, and rather than let those rooms go to waste, why not put them to good use and use them as an opportunity to create memorable experiences and give a bit of recognition to people who deserve a bit of a thank you. Now obviously if you're watching this video, you don't need me to tell you how important volunteers are, but that was the deserving group that Room to Reward was set up to recognise in this way. So that was the acorn of the idea back in 2015. This video is being recorded in December 2023, and we now have nearly 1,000 hotel partners located all over the UK, and that is a number that is growing all the time. So depending on when you're watching this, our number of hotel partners is likely to be even higher. The support and the way that the industry has just got behind what we're trying to do here is just amazing. And as well as a great number of hotels, we have a fantastic variety from the absolute sort of top end, 5-star, extravagantly luxurious places, a lot of the big commercial groups, right down to boutique, independent properties and family run B&Bs, which is fantastic for us because obviously the more we have, the more breaks we can do and the more options we can give people. So the way it works for our charity and voluntary group partners is very simple. You're given a set number of nominations you can make per year, which is based on the number of volunteers that you have at the organisation. Now that is something we try and be as generous and flexible as we can with, but at the same time we're always walking a bit of a tightrope and finding the right balance between firstly making sure that everybody we work with has the opportunity to nominate their volunteers, secondly that the demand on the hotels is very manageable from a business perspective, and also ultimately that everyone nominated for a Room to Reward break has a good choice of hotels to choose from to enjoy. So those nominations start at 2 a year for the very small groups and goes up to a maximum of 8 to 10 for the big national charities. And the nomination allowance window runs from January through to December, and then every January that number will reset. So however many you're given to start with, come the next January, that will reset and you could put another bunch of nominations in the following year. So it's an ongoing developing partnership. In terms of the nomination process, it's very straightforward. Once you're fully signed up as a partner of ours, you'll be given login details, which will take you to the back end part of our website, where we have the nomination database. And there we just ask for the name of the volunteer you want to put forward, and then the nomination statement, which is a free text box, and it's just your opportunity to tell us why you want to nominate this particular volunteer. So obviously, what their role is, how long they've been doing it for, what their impact has been, the times they've gone the extra mile, everything that makes them such a wonderful valued volunteer for you and your organisation. And we do have a couple of qualification criteria for nominations. So the first is we ask that they've been volunteering for at least 1 year, and the second is we don't do nominations for trustees or people in governing positions. It's operational and service delivery volunteers, but whether that's those involved in sort of frontline caregiving roles or back of house admin, IT support, or people doing amazing things in fundraising, whatever it might be, it's entirely up to you as to who you want to put forward. And in those nominations, just make sure you give enough detail about what their role has been, obviously how long they've been doing it for, and like I say, what impact they have had on your organisation and the people and places that you help. Now you can either spread those nominations out over the course of the year and just sort of send them in whenever you have time, or if you would like to use Room to Reward to create or enhance your volunteer celebrations, maybe during Volunteers Week or around Christmas time, or whenever you would like to have these celebrations of everything that your volunteers do, and you want to use Room to Reward to support and enhance that, then you're absolutely welcome to do that and submit all your nominations at the same time for the same event. That's entirely up to you as to which way works best. The usual turnaround time from nominations being submitted to being processed and approved is a maximum of 2 weeks. If you have a specific date that you need everything organised by, just ping us an email and let us know, and those nominations can be flagged to make sure that they are processed all in good time. The only time of year we have a deadline for nomination submissions is for Volunteers Week, purely because of the number of nominations we get for that specific week. We ask all Volunteers Week celebration nominations to be submitted midway through May so that we have plenty of time to read through and process them all. Once those nominations come in, we get together as a team here at Room to Reward and sit and read them a couple of times a week. A key thing I really want to emphasise is Room to Reward is a thank you. It's not a prize, so there's no sort of lucky dip or prize draw element to the approval process. The nominations aren't judged against each other. There's no sense of competition in that we say yes to some and no to others or anything like that. It's every nomination that meets the criteria I laid out previously will be approved by us, and if we need more information or something, we'll always come back and ask specific questions to get the information we need. But really, I would just emphasise the importance of including as much detail as you can in those initial nominations, and then it's very straightforward for us to approve them. So once the nomination has been approved, you or whoever made the nomination will be sent an email with a link to a certificate for you to present to the volunteer whenever you want to share the good news with them. It'll have a booking guide which just explains to them the steps they now need to take to get their break booked in, and it will also have their booking link. So all of that is sent to whoever submitted the nomination and is there for you to hold on to and pass on to the volunteer at the right time. We only have direct contact with the volunteers themselves when it comes to actually submitting a booking request. So once they click that booking link, it will load up our platform, which just shows all of the hotels that are currently available. So it looks kind of similar to booking.com or Expedia or those sorts of multi-property booking sites. And in each hotel's profile, there's a couple of pictures, there's a description, there's accessibility information where we've been able to source that, and it'll also say when they can and when they can't offer a break. And that's really the most important thing for the volunteers to note, is that because our breaks are based on anticipated unsold rooms, each hotel when they sign up will block out their busiest times of year, whether that's weekends for some or summer months for others, or the business ones are much busier Monday through to Thursday, so might block out some midweek nights. But it's made very clear in each hotel's profile what their availability is, and one of the great things about the number of hotels we have now is invariably there's a hotel that can do every request. For every hotel we have that can't offer weekend breaks, we've got other ones that only offer weekend breaks. So it's worth the volunteers just having a look at each hotel in the area that they would like to go to, and they can narrow the search results by region and hotel type on the platform, and just making sure that they take note of what those booking restrictions are for each property. So once a volunteer has chosen the hotel they'd like to go to, we ask them to put in 3 potential dates for their break, and then that booking request will go directly to our contact at the hotel, and the team at Room to Reward here will also see that that booking request has been submitted. So it is important that all booking requests are made either through the link that the volunteers are sent. If people are struggling to use the link, they're obviously welcome to get in touch with us and we can submit it on their behalf. But it is important that it's done either via the link or through the Room to Reward team here, so the hotel know what they're dealing with and so that it goes to the right person. From there, it's one of those things where 99% of the time, one of those dates will work fine and the hotel will respond and book the volunteer in and send them over their booking confirmation and everything. But the reason we want to see that booking request go in is, firstly, if the volunteer is stuck waiting for a reply, then we can step in and chase the hotel up on their behalf. Or if for whatever reason the hotel can't do it, if they have to be full on those requested dates, and obviously all our breaks are always subject to availability, then we can again step in and either suggest an alternative hotel in the area or try different dates or do whatever's needed really to get that booking across the line. But like I say, 99% of the time one of those dates will work fine and the hotel will book them in and send over the confirmation. So finally, the breaks themselves, they are for 1 or 2 nights. There's a handful of hotels on the system that can only offer 1 night breaks, but the vast majority of them will offer 2. It's for the nominated volunteer and a +1, so they can take their partner or a friend or whoever with them, and they're on a bed and breakfast basis as well. And then there are some slight exceptions to that, so we have a number of holiday parks and holiday homes and things which are obviously self-catering, but they're also much more amenable to family breaks. So if people want to go away in groups of 4 or something, we would encourage them to look at those options because it's much easier to make that happen in those sorts of properties than it is in a hotel. But anything different to 2 nights for 2 people on a bed and breakfast basis, again, it will say in the property's profile on our booking system what their offer is. And then that's it. Once the booking is made, it's the same as any other reservation and they're free to go and enjoy a couple of nights away. We very much look at Room to Reward as an opportunity for volunteers to take some time back for themselves, having given up so much of their time through their volunteering. And these breaks are here for people to use in whatever way suits them best. So hopefully you're still with me. Thank you very much for your time and giving me the opportunity just to cover a few different elements of how Room to Reward works. You can now register your organisation with us using the form below, and in the additional notes section, if you could just give a quick overview of your organisation's role and what you do, and a rough number of how many volunteers you have at the organisation, we can then get on with setting you up as a partner of ours on our system. Within the next week or so, you will receive a welcome pack which covers everything I've said in this video about Room to Reward, and will also include your nomination allowance info, the link of where to submit your nominations, and the login details you need in order to do that. If you have any further questions or need anything else from us, please do get in contact with me. My email address is below, or if you would like a further, more detailed discussion, please book a meeting time using the link below as well. Thank you very much again, and we look forward to welcoming you to the Room to Reward journey.